I'd rather be changing, messing with my nose. Mm-hmm. It's good. A good day. Peace, everybody. Just give me 1 second. Had a busy day today. Hope everybody had a productive day. Hope everybody had a productive day. Hope everybody endeavors was prosperous today. Hope everybody accomplished what they wanted to accomplish today. Give me 1 second. Let me get a couple more things set up. Just want to share a little bit of info today. Oh, my boy. All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in here. Peace, 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 peace to you, Noble Bay. Peace and love to you, Noble Bay, as always. Peace, light, and illumination to you, as always. Peace, light, and illumination to everybody, no matter what you believe in, no matter what type of Islam you in. I hope you know who you are, because I know who I am. I'm not here to debate anyone over their religious dogmatic perspective. It's all love. Whatever piece of Islam you hold, I hope you have a clear understanding. But for me, I don't believe or I gravitate to nothing outside of myself. Anything outside of myself is true shirk. I'm Tasawwuf, I'm Sufi. So I understand all three religious rights, the Paraclete, the Fatimid, to Jerusalem, the Christian per se, all that. I have a clear understanding. So I'm not here to argue over no one religious perspective. With all due respect, before anybody come on my page, I hope they understand that, because that's not what I'm here for. But if we want to get into origin and history, it's only one, and all the rest, I'm not dealing with it. You can have that for yourself. So, I hope everybody having a good day. I'm letting a couple more people get in. Beautiful day as always. But I said I'm going to give a little bit of history books. How can I say? Some adapt books. I always share books and talk about things. And for me, I'm not a gatekeeper. I always tell people it's only one science. It's only one truth. Some people, how can I say? Some people have light but won't share it. Some people have light but won't share it. Some people keep it secret and bury it for themselves. And then some act like they know and don't know. So it's so many reasons. But for me, I say a form of mind control is false information and religious dogma all day, you know? So when I be telling people about things like historical aspects, like it's a historical bookstore in Detroit I always frequent, and I love it. I get a lot of my gnostics books there. Of course, I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society. I get a lot of my books there. Through my academic endeavor, a lot of my professors, they don't have kids and things that was into the science, so a lot of their libraries was given to me. And I just thank the Creator introducing me to this wisdom. I thank my parents for birthing me and giving me the inclination and the how can I say, inquiring knowledge as a youth and going back to it. And just all the things that I've been through in life, it got me to this place. But it's things in history like people be talking about Black Wall Street and all those things and what happened in Philadelphia. And then I say it was a time in history in St. Louis in the misnomer black community where they just dropped some gas in the sky, on the whole community. Research the House Concurrent Resolution number 33, the 100th General Assembly. Research that. Whereas the experiments exposed large portions of the United States and parts of Mexico and Canada to flurries of a synthesized chemical called zinc, cadmium, sulfide. But in 2012, previous classified documents revealed new details about how where the United States Army sprayed chemicals over thousands of unwanted citizens, some of 33 urban and rural areas in St. Louis, in which populations were deliberately exposed without their knowledge. This was in St. Louis, whereas St. Louis was one of the cities singled out, where? An urban neighborhood, for heavy-duty testing during Operation LAC. Testing was conducted throughout the Puritic Igog, am I saying that right? Or Prit Augie, if I'm pronouncing it right. I might not be. Pruitt-IGOE. Housing projects located northwest of downtown St. Louis, a low-income and predominantly minority community of 10,000 people, with approximately 70% of the community comprised of children under the age of 12. I'm doing good. Whereas in St. Louis, the United States Army sprayed zinc, cadmium, sulfide with motorized blowers perched atop low-income housing buildings and schools, claiming at the time that the machines were part of a test for smoke screens that could guard against aerial observation by the Russians. See, they just lied. Whereas despite the extent of the experiments, local politicians were not notified about the content of the testing. When the true purpose of the machines were revealed by the Army in 1994, a public outcry led to Congress requesting that the National Research Council probe zinc cadmium sulfide's health effects. And whereas the National Research Council concluded that while the toxicity of zinc cadmium sulfide itself was not well understood, the quantities of the chemical released by the United States Army would not have harmed the public, even if and that's false. Whereas the National Academy of Science also concluded that the zinc sulfide exposure did not pose a threat to human health, while acknowledging the most toxicity studies should be conducted. And they didn't do that. Think about this. Think about this, y'all. When we say we won't, and we always trust and trust and trust and trust, and don't do our research, and I say it's only one history. This happened over and over and over, and we doing no just to our own people when we do this to our own kind. Think about it, man. Just think about how we do to each other, especially brothers and sisters that's supposed to be loving each other and say these things matter. Because I don't see another group of individuals doing it. So I'm going to share just a couple of books, and like I said, other people use me for references for all different levels of books. If it's Gnostics, if it's history, spirituality, history, civics, whatever it is, I have a full library. and over my academic endeavor, as I still continue to take a lot of books that I have and convert to ebooks, because a lot of these books are going to be obsolete. A lot of people don't know that Google, what they did, they spent millions of dollars converting books to ebooks and PDFs. This is just a repeated cycle. That's why a lot of books on Amazon cost a lot. A lot of books that I show y'all, and you see on Amazon, they be like 1,000, some books be 2,000, and you be like, why? It's just paper. Because there's something in the paper. And the average person don't have it. You know? And so a lot of times when people say something is hidden, I say nothing can be hidden if I'm talking about it. What we have to admit is some of us haven't been introduced to it. And then not even being introduced to it, being able to talk eloquently, you know, from no biasness, from no perspective, and break the science down on both levels to give you something to compare to. That's what a teacher does. That's what a shaman does. That's what a medicine man does. I don't let who I am and what I am stop the science and the wisdom, because the science and the wisdom is colorless. It's unbiased. So a lot of the, you might hear wisdom books, and a lot of the books that I talk about, it's only science, it's only metaphysics when you hear it. And a lot of times, brothers and sisters' ears are not open because they have gravitated to a religious perspective. And when you gravitate to a religious perspective, it make you biased. But like I said, here at the Burning Bush Tabernacle, we don't gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. So, one of the series in my gnostic library, like I said, if anybody want these books, all you got to do is hit me up. If you want to give a charitable donation for the books, you can. If you don't, it's still love. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but if a workman is due his hire, and if you want these books as an ebook, I can give them all to you with no problem. You just have to give me your email and whatever donation that you want to give to the heart. I don't charge nothing, but I do ask for a donation if you want the work that I've done to be given to you without you doing the work on a platter, if you want it, because you can do a lot yourself. You can find all the stuff yourself if you want to, you know, just like you can do anything for yourself. But I put it all together for you so you don't have to do that research. And if you have the time or have the funds, you can say, well, I don't mind, you know, giving a donation to this because, hey, this is worth value to me. But if not, like I said, it's still love. I give it to you for free, with all due respect, because that's how I roll. But let's proceed. One of the books in the series is Personal Magnetism, Psychic Influence, you know? And all these things I talk about and speak on is for the, how can I say, for the self. It's for glorifying self. It's not putting a magnify on no one else or looking at the toothpick in someone else's eye and you have a log in yours. All these tools in the toolbox is for perfecting self. So when I speak of these things, the thought force, the concentration, the willpower, and the practical mental science by William Walker Atkins. This was written in 1901 by the University of Psychic Science. You know, and a lot of these manuscripts is, you know, written in the early 90s or 1900s or earlier. I don't want to stay too far in these books because then I'll be, you know, staying too far in it. But I just want to give a little preface of the books and like some of the contents in the books, which it talks about chapter 1, salutary, chapter 2, the nature of force, chapter 3, how thought force can aid you, chapter 4, the psychic, 5, a little worldly wisdom, chapter 6, the power of the eye, 7, the magnetic gaze, 8, the volic force, the VOLIC force, 8, direct volation, telepathic volation, the adductive quality of thought, character building by mental control, the art of concentration, the practice of concentration, and valicitory, you know, all these different chapters, which is talking about perfecting self, you know? So these tools, when I come across so many different brothers that say they Moors, which I say peace and love, and they say they study Moor science, and I say peace and love. You know, after you study the Moorish Quran and what any other lessons and you know any other thing that go with the Quran, you might have the study key questionnaires. You might have other lessons and things, which is great, which is great. But then, as a student, and just like myself as a teacher, for me, it's more to teach than that. For myself and for anybody that's rocking with me. I'm going to teach knowledge. I'm going to teach order. I'm going to teach rhythm. I'm going to teach astronomy. I'm going to teach astrology. I'm going to teach nature. And one, I'm going to teach the simplicity of this science. What? Perfecting self. That's number uno. That's number uno with me and my muftis. What? We perfect self. And we are in the world. And we do a lot of community work in our communities. So for me, when a person say, what is more science? It's way more than talking about a whole bunch of things that's gone and a whole bunch of martyrs. For myself and for anybody that I'm around, for any professors, any scholars, any scientific, any Gnostics, any metaphysics that I've been around, no matter what color they are, the science we talk about is all level of wisdom. When you hear Bobby lecturing, Bobby Hemming ain't up there talking about no, man, you can file this and file this. C. Freeman L ain't talking about you can file this and file this. Bobby Hemming told them Negroes way back in the early 90s that all that stuff was going to get them in trouble. He got videos of it. Bobby Hemmett used a lot of different books. He talked about tantra magic. He talked about this other things. Bobby Hemmett went up there talking like these people are, talking about you can file this paperwork or you can magically get this and get that. Never was. Show me one time where Bobby Hemmett and Samuel L. and the elders was talking this outlandish stuff. Everything Bobby Hemmett be talking about, if people have ears, you'd be like, well, that's what Sheik be talking about. Down there, every book Bobby Hemmett be pulling out, I already go over. If people be listening, and then I show you videos of Bobby Hemmett, and I'll be like, you'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, this book? You'd be like, yeah. You lecture that, yeah. And then you'll see Bobby Hemmett talking about something else, he'll hold it up. And I say, this book? Somebody will say, yeah, Sheik lectured on that. And that's why I be saying, how can people disagree? And they be, yep, loving Bobby Hemmett, which all due respect. All I'm doing is showing you what's written. It has to match. And then bringing it further today in all different levels of wisdom. That's all. That's all. Our elder C. Freeman L. wasn't talking no crazy stuff like these people do, and then confusing that with science or civics. And I say, man, that's not what I promulgate. I never promulgate nothing like that, and I know that's gibberish. But let's proceed. The next book in this Gnostic library, which I told people you can get from me for a small donation, it's a plethora. I put a lot of work in. This is the science. Remember that. The Opening of the Third Eye, by Dr. Douglas Baker. I don't know if anybody ever had that, but these are recommendations in my library. Just a small touch of the Gnostic books. Just like when you look at the flower and the macabre, and when I start showing you things, and when you start being able to come to these private teachings that I do, and I tell people, and I go over these things, it's so amazing. The Opening of the Third Eye by Doug Baker. I have a plethora of these, and all these books I have in my library, physical. I just sit down and then, have the pleasure and the time to say, oh, I can get these this way. A Manual of Occult, Sifrio, one of the books that I love. And when you're able to break these things down in groups, because that's the way these things should be studied. When I always tell brothers, I had so many young brothers that they don't like how can I say, slow down, and then your excitement will a lot of times mess you up when you're really supposed to be building something and taking something further than anybody else could. But I understand how sometimes your excitement can mess you up. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, this science should be a collective unit. This is energy. This is electricity. And the electricity should be promulgated and put out in the world in a certain manifestation. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. From understanding. Because the divine is come first. And that's what? Understanding. The nobleness is how you think. Understanding is wisdom. Nothing else. No phone call from someone talking about they taking you through some adapt chamber. That, man, come on. We ain't rocking like that. The next book in his library is The Occult World, the esoteric Buddhism. We respect and obey all the laws and prophets. Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, remember? Yahshua. Remember, we don't gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. So if that's the case, why are you afraid of what I'm saying? If I'm breaking down all the sciences, if I'm removing the veil on all the teachings, showing you with a clear eye, wait a minute, with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because the other part is self-explanatory. The so-called civic part, that's self-explanatory. Why? Because that's dealing with the flesh. That's what I tell people, man. When I talk about that aspect, I say that's too simple. That's why it's nothing to discuss. You know, people, I already done discussed it and made it plain. I'm done with that. We riding on a whole nother frequency. The Occult World by A.P. Spinett. This one is the 4th edition. So when they say the occult world, what you mean, Sheik? Listen, I promise you, when you open this stuff and when you look at all these mantras, you're going to be like, this is science. Like, this is what Sheik talking about. This is what C. Freeman Allen was talking about. I'm going to break every one of these tools down. I'm just going over the ones in the toolbox for brothers can get their library and get some of this wisdom if they want it. You know, and we're going to go over this stuff. A lot of these books come from Cornell. The Occult Philosophy or Magic by Henry Cornelius Agrippa. Now Henry Cornelius Agrippa have a plethora of books. And now when you see things and when I show books and things, we have to be dealing with the mind and the wisdom and the understanding. We can't get in the aspect of having people get us caught up in a color per se. Peace, Noble Rue. Peace, Brother Rue. And all the stuff is available to you. And like I said, all I've done is done the work. And I put this stuff in nice little bundles for people if they want to support what we're doing. You know? And then we go over this stuff in our book club. My noble Moso just jumped on. I don't know if he might be on my YouTube page. I think he just jumped on there. And we have book club every Friday. The occult sciences, you know. A compendium of transcendental doctrine, an experiment. And when you have to open this up and see what it's about. I told y'all a lot of times in writings and in grammar, you would see words and you would think it really mean something scary or derogatory, but really it means something that, how can I say, that's glorified, that should be in awe. Just like in criminal law and civic law, words have different meanings. I hope people understand that. All different facets. That's why I say the language must match. What? In any craft that you're doing, the language must match. The language, it has to match. Elements of Astrology by Broughton. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. Elements of Astrology. It's packed with so much wisdom. when things can be made clear to you, when you have real classes, when you go over wisdom. Because if we have in school and class, we're dealing with wisdom. We're not dealing with nothing out here playing. The signs, the planets, and the aspects. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, all that. The signs, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, the planets, Neptune, Sun, Uranus, Venus, the aspects, conjunction, semi-sextile, semi-square, sextile. I don't want to get all into it, but you have to get the wisdom to build your library for we can have something to talk about, so we can have conversation. I'm trying to bring back something to your memories. We're not here to argue. It's nothing to argue about. I always tell my brothers and sisters, what is there to argue about? It can't be nothing to argue about. Even when I talk to my brothers and when I talk about the Napatan Library, and they say, what you mean? I say, you should know what the Napatan Library mean when I say that. When people say they initiated in this and that and the other, and they have certain libraries and they introduce a certain wisdom, then you know what I'm saying is nothing to be frowned upon. Because words and things should be similar to your hippocampus. Especially if you're dealing with the historical origin of it, it's nothing to argue about. So let's proceed with the wisdom and understanding so we can build our libraries for those that want to. Astrology is techniques and ethics by CAQ Libra. When I start showing you the mathematical equations, remember I talk about Supreme Hika. Always talk about these mathematical equations. Always talk about how to take things and connect these scientific matters. When I talk about things that we use in elementary school, what do you mean, Sheik? Our compass and our square. The compass and your square, these two things that we use in elementary school. Understand what I'm saying? So when I start showing signs and symbols and pictorial visions, you will have a clear understanding of what I'm talking about. When you have it to see for yourself. I always tell people, if you don't like learning, I guarantee you will love to learn with me. If you have a child that learn different, I like to call their style, they use a different style of martial arts. I'm just saying it in that way. I bet you they'll learn with me, because that's a gift and that's a craft that I have. And that's one of my expertise. You can ask anyone that I deal with, no matter what color they are. When I deal with the youth in that perspective, it always come out what? On the positive aspect. Why? Because that's my gift in real life. And that's what we're going to offer at my temple. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Let's proceed. Another piece of wisdom is astrology, is teachings and ethics, or I already gave you that one, but I have different versions of it. The first one was one version, but this is a different version. Because I always like to get different versions, like volume ones, or some from different places and this and that and the other, see if something was took out or if something was added in to different versions. Like sometimes you will see books and you will see there'll be copywritten or written in 1 year, and then they have new versions or new editions. And some of the new editions, a lot of the wisdom be took out from the originals. So that's just something that I'm into as well. But let's proceed. The masculine cross, a history of ancient and modern crosses. This is one of I lectured this too, man, at the Gnostic library. It was amazing. Mystery of sex worship and the account of the kindred phases and the phallic ethics and practices. It's the old book. It was for 1891. And when you get into the wisdom and to the science, you start connecting things. You start connecting wisdom. All these books is Gnostic books. All these books is esoteric books. When I start connecting things, like it's an ancient book called A Study of the Sky. A Study of the Sky, yep, by Herbert A. Howe. And when I say I don't want to go all into the books, but it's about astronomy, is at once the most ancient and the noblest of the physical sciences. So it goes all in depth with this astronomy. For thousands of years, successive generations of men have gazed with admiration and delight. But remember, the Dogon was able to do this. Remember, I say our Quran is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. All that other stuff to me is uncivilized. I tell everyone what I represent. I represent knowledge, wisdom, understanding, education, history, a real builder in a community. It's 99 degrees with all due respect, regardless how anybody feel about me, makes me no different. The shining constellations that we talk about in the biblical scriptures, which they call Maserat. But that's a whole nother teaching. And we can illuminate this on so many levels, you know? It's another piece of wisdom as we proceed with building your library. It's called the Gateway to Paradise, the spirituality of the fathers. And these pieces of wisdom that you have in your library are beautiful pieces of understanding. One of them is the Gateway to Paradise by Basil the Great. And when I say this piece of wisdom, it's just listen to some of the topics, man. Like the constellation, an adversary, on faith, an aesthetic discourse from the longer rules, a discourse on the aesthetic discipline, on the Holy Spirit. So all these things, when you start researching and connecting, when we be able to have discussion, never debates, because I don't debate nobody. You know, like John Henry Clark said, I only debate my equals, all others I teach. It's nothing to debate. It's nothing to debate. We should be able, if we can stay on topic and we here for a specific reason, then it's nothing to debate. What we have to do is be like, thanks for the wisdom and thanks for the understanding. And we come to what? An agreement, and we walk out as brothers, regardless of the creed or sex, etc. If we're operating on understanding, if we're nobles, I tell people that's how I rock. I operate with no prejudice. I go to many places. And I'm who I am, everywhere I go. But the understanding and what I represent, I don't have to be ashamed of that, especially when I know. So it's another piece of wisdom. It's called the Son of Perfection. And it's part one. It's by Professor Hotima. And when you look at and a lot, like I said, I'm not going to get into the books, but just a pictorial of them, I hope you see it's all saying the same thing. If you have an eye to see, like I don't even have to get in the book, but I can tell you about the cover. Watch this. I don't even use this. I use the Clock of Destiny. So say if you got the Clock of Destiny, I don't care what volume, and you got the circle on the Clock of Destiny, and you got all the constellations on it, right? And in the middle, you got the sun, or you got the Son of God in the middle, or Muhammad, whatever. In the middle is the sun with all the constellations. And that's what you see right there. That same thing. That same symbology I just showed you. With all due respect, I always tell people, I deal with truth and falsehood strangely mixed. I have to break things down. As a chemist, as a philosopher, I love things that's written. But just because something that's written, it's not going to have me all caught up and be like, oh, all this. Because I can say, well, I hear this, but I dang sure ain't rocking with that. Why? Because I know better than this. That's why. Regardless of how nobody feel about it. I can care less. I bet you right now, if we dealing with a clean glass and a dirty glass, and I bet you right now, if we dealing with what I'm promulgating on another level, civic level, and people say, okay, well now everybody got to go to court and stand up for what they got to do, I bet you it's going to be more rocking with me than the others. I guarantee you, because everybody going to know it's like, well, I'm rocking with Sheik. Why? Because I know we ain't going to get in trouble. I guarantee you like that. And I bet you they're going to be like, when Sheik going to deal with it, it's going to be all 100. They going to know that. I guarantee you, when the real come down. That's why I don't play that. And everybody know it. This stuff is too easy. Let's proceed to the next one. This stuff is too easy, man. So it's a whole series by Hilton Hotima. He have a piece of wisdom called Live Longer. I'm just dropping pieces of wisdom for you. Because I don't want to stay too far in these. I want to go through, the pieces of information that he have. The same author have a book called Land of Light. Now remember, y'all can get all this from me. It's going to open your horizon. It's going to open your understanding. I guarantee you. The Genesis of Christianity by Hilton Hotima. It's going to open a whole nother chamber of your understanding. Why? Because you're going to be dealing with what? This type of wisdom. Things going to start coming back to your remembrance. I guarantee you. Why? Because that's what you want to do. The Spirits book by Allan Kardec. The Spirit book by Allan Kardec. When I tell people, I say, this is just a small fraction, Brother Bay, Fall Studio. When I say this, Brother Bay, I promise you, with all due respect, I'm not trying to boast and brag. I got over 1 million books and documents. Books, that's hundreds and thousands, hard copies. I got about like storage units, books filled to the top. I've been doing this for years. And I offer, and the thing with me, I done help more college students and real people in life that don't look like me graduate from Grand Canyon University in what? Religious studies. I tell people real truth. I've been doing this for a long time. For a long time. Real talk. And this is just a small library. This is just a small library. And I offer this stuff to my brothers and sisters for pennies as ebooks. But only the expensive books I print and buy. Why? Because it's not worth for me to print a book that I give you for $5 or $3 or something. And you can have it as an ebook, even though it might be packed with information. You can have it on your tablet and travel. And if you want to get it printed and binded, you can. But we print and bind the expensive books, like Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov, like Melanin, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness, that costs $1,000. Like The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War by Tinsler. That book costs $1,000. Those are the books I print and buy, and I give them to a person that's ebooks. But a lot of the people just want them ebooks. Why? Because that's how people roll. Let's proceed. Back to some of these. Now, I always talk about Albert Churchward. Albert Churchward wrote the book Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man. But he got a book called The Origin and Evolution of Freemasonry, connected with the origin of evolution of the human race. I have those as well. You know, all these adapt books. Well, I wouldn't say adapt books, but when I say adapt, yes, I do mean adapt, because it's adapting this form of understanding to the same understanding of what you should know as synchronicity. So it's really adapting and synchronizing these two crafts as one, if you understand, because that's what I'm doing here. Magic in Ancient Egypt. You know, Magic in Ancient Egypt by Geraldine Pinch. This is a great piece of wisdom. And I told y'all, I've done the work, so there's no reason for no one to go nowhere else. There's no reason to deal with nobody else from a different class, or you saw someone on TikTok. With all due respect, I'm right here. Nobody gonna send you to no gatekeeping and say, oh, I gotta send you here and do this. No, I'm right here. I got everything for you, I promise you. Anything I talk about, I have it. If any of my mufti was on here, they'd be like, yeah, well, he just give it all to us for small donations, like bundles. Be like, he done the work. If anybody follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, you see, I show it all and I give it all away. Let's see. Let's see the other ones I got. Just some of those adapt ones that I got today from the Gnostic library. Which one was this one? And then I'll go through a couple more and I'm out of here. Oh, the Spirit book, The Principles of Spiritual Doctrine. Yeah, this is an old one. Oh yeah, this is one in 1893 by Allan Kardec. Yeah. Okay, this one is Spiritism in its most expression, a short exposition of spirits and doctrines and manifestations by Allan Kardec. I have a couple of the same one. And this is what we should be studying and knowing. Everything else, when I show people, I'll be like, dude, you do not want to get caught up in that. I already done showed people what that stuff is, and they still doing it. So some people can't be saved. It's just what it is. Let's see what else I got for you, man. Oh, I showed you a lot of those. I showed y'all most of them. Of those. Oh, it's another book. Oh, yeah, I showed y'all Alan Kardec. Okay. Okay, yeah. I showed y'all that. Okay, so I'll show y'all something else. Because, let me see. I got a couple more minutes, okay? So that I was going to do an hour. And that was just today. Okay, I don't know if y'all know about who, what the symbols are of the Mami Waters, of what the Catholic Church hid. You can research that. That book is not expensive, but I have it as a very informative piece of literature that you want to have, you know. But yeah, man, like I know in class we always used to talk about books like Proof of a Conspiracy, you know, against all the religions and governments of Europe carried on in the secret meetings of Freemasonry, Illuminati, and the Reading Society. I mean, I can go like I got, man, we can go so far with stuff, man, I can show you. You'll be like, what? Pull that back up. You'll be like, wait a minute, Sheik, hold on. And every one of these, I can burn the book up and tell you what the whole book about. Not only saying it in the arrogance like that, because it's just a pleasure. You know, it's something that what I love to do. And my muftis know it. My whole family know it. This is just something that I do. It's a part of my life. When I can show you things and add things to show you how stuff was missing, and you would let somebody tell you, oh, this. You're not supposed to read this and stay away from this, blah, 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 man. We don't want to hear all that. We hear you. We hear you. I know why it's done to keep certain people away. I know why. So we ain't gonna argue. We just gonna illuminate. And I'm right here, y'all. And we can go over this together as a family, privately on my Zoom, as I do with my other students and my other brothers. Let me show y'all, man. Let me see. I got some other. Yeah, you might seen somebody hit me up, and I'm not gonna say the young brother name because I'm not gonna do it because then everybody will know. So the young brother on social media, he got the black fez on, and you know if somebody be sending me stuff, they're like, "Sheik, I know this brother don't something." And he was talking about this right here, and he was like, "Why do people just be getting things and posting about it, Sheik, and this, that, and the other?" And this, I said, "Listen, man, I'm not into that." I said, but things are not hard to get access to. But when you get access to it, I hope you know what you're doing. This is all I'm saying with people, because if that's the case, it's just paper. You might as well burn it. With all due respect. With all due respect. Remember, everything is clear understanding. I promise you, man. And if you're dealing with no disrespect, those that's dropouts, then what do you think? Do you think a dropout really, now at an older age, is really have the aptitude, or are they just doing a Google search and looking at things? That's why I know in Freemasonry, I understand why they say to be one, you must know one. That's why I understand when I talk to a lot of Masons and I say why a lot of Masons don't know a lot of the understanding that I had the pleasure to be introduced to. And they was like, well, Sheik, you know, a lot of them, and then they said a lot of us, we're not into that. That has to be your expertise. I understand that now. I understand that now. I understand that now. And this is what a lot of Masons like potentate. That's why my professors, European potentate, Scottish Rite Masons, said you had to get your own charter sheet, and I did, with all due respect. I love what Noble Drew Ali set up, the Moorish Science Temple of America. I love that concept, what he did then for the people then. But today, man, I moved way past that. I told y'all, I can say way more than what I want to. It's just like when Malcolm was dealing with the Nation of Islam, and when he figured out things, them Negroes was mad because he stood strong on his square. Same way, man, I ain't got time for that. We gonna stand strong. If I'm representing, if I'm some grand sheik and I've had people file fake taxes, I ain't right. So I don't be wanting to hear the bull crap. We don't leave nobody until no burn the house. No one. I don't give a damn. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right, I'm going to stand on it. I don't care how nobody feel. Unless they act like there's some Crips and Bloods. Then that's a whole nother science. Then that's a whole nother science. But the Occult Anatomy of Man by Manly P. Hall. So at the Philosophical Research Society, y'all, they have a whole library, a whole section dedicated to Manly P. Hall with a lot of pieces of wisdom and understanding, which to me, with all due respect, is lower level science. To me, it's only 32 and 33 degree wisdom, to me, which is snowman wisdom, in all due respect. I'll give you that when I put the turban and the fez on your crown and give you the 32 and 33 degrees. When we talk about the Occult Anatomy of Man, Manly P. Hall wrote that as well, but it's nothing but more science. In this pictorial right here, all that is Islam. All that is arm, leg, arm, head. Man standing up with all his extremities. That's a perfect penta. That's a perfect penta. What you're looking at right there is a perfect penta in a circle. I hope you see what I see. That's a perfect penta. And then let me show you another degree. You see the circle and the square? Watch this. I'm going to break another piece of wisdom down. You see the circle and the square in this pictorial. Watch this. You see the circle and the square. Watch this. The circle and the square both have 360 degrees, just different parameter. I already brought this down. That's why the circle and the square, when brothers say, oh, that's crazy, you can't put the circle in the square, you crazy. That's the hex alpha and the fez. They both have 360 degrees, but different parameter. You just don't know how to use your tools in your toolbox. See, these is facts. And if you don't know that, then I don't know what science you under. You under some cult stuff. You on some playing. You out here playing church. Oh, and the reverend said, and the Lord said, and man, I don't got time for that. I deal with wisdom. I deal with using these tools in the toolbox. We graduating. This is the upper echelon of wisdom. This is not none of that bum stuff. You can't be talking about, oh, I use some adapt. Adapt type of what? Talk about some old who the this and the old that. No, man, we talking about what we going to teach these babies, what we going to teach this history, how we going to have them to stand up and arise, how we going to build in our community. This is what I'm talking about, how we build our libraries. And I'm only giving a fraction. This is just a fraction of wisdom. I have over 1 million books and documents. This is what I'm saying, that I can circumscribe the whole world. Real talk, Brother Bay. You say, I see what you see. That's all there is to see if we moving with all law. That's all we got to do. If anybody else ain't rocking with what was right here, Brother Bay, they on some, you know what. Why? Because I don't know what they teaching. They playing. I told you, they out here playing Crips and Bloods. They on other people's page. People don't want to humble themselves and give gratitude. And I like the word humble. People don't want to give gratitude to supreme wisdom. People want to have their own, which is a urinate contest. That's why we're not getting nowhere. And I'm telling people, it's only one science, it's only one wisdom. Them brothers will not take that stuff to no court in the law and stand on it on their own. They'll bark that stuff on a chain. You let that off the chain and you have to go defend that self on your own. Man, it ain't standing on nothing. It ain't standing on nothing. People always talk about what somebody can do and you can do this and I say, well, did you do it? No, I know you ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna stand on that. I know this for a fact. I've seen it with my eyes. I know people real names. I know people real government names, man. Not no fake alias. I know what's really going on. And I fly anywhere. Why? I'll fly somewhere right now. A person say something, I'll be in Chicago right in the morning. They'll be like, damn, Sheik in Chicago. Yeah, I know what's going on. People just be butthurt. I told y'all, ain't no man over me. None. No man. I know what's going on with this wisdom. And you have to have your own. You have to be able to stand strong. Real talk. And get your head bust. Real talk. I be telling people, man, I don't even show a lot. He crazy. In a beautiful way, like we bowling. Not in that way, in bowling. We have to be politically correct for we won't get no strikes. But politically correct, bowling. We gonna win in bowling. When we bowl, we're gonna have a glorious time. And knock all the pins down. Brother Bay crazy. But all this wisdom, we must understand. And I be asking brothers, what are y'all talking about? The son of perfection. I already told y'all that earlier. So then, when brothers be using all this stuff they get off social media, all this old stuff, and I say, okay, after all this old stuff, now what? Would you teach this to your baby? I always ask people that. I always ask these brothers this when we promulgating things. The ancient secrets of personal power, the technogrammathon. So when I be showing pieces of wisdom, man, I know brothers don't like to read and study. I know brothers' aptitude is only a tittle. I know this for a fact. You know it and I know it. Why? Because most of these brothers dropped out of high school. Ask any of them, most of them brothers on here, did they graduate high school? And it don't mean nothing. What I'm showing you is a process. What I'm showing you is how most of these individuals' mentals is all on one level playing field. That's all I'm saying. How? And it's not osmosis. Why? It's a pattern. With all due respect. And nobody can, I bet you everybody we ask that be on that same level, you ask them did they graduate high school, I bet you 9 out of 10 of them, 9.99% didn't graduate out of high school. I guarantee you. Why? Because the way they talking. The way they talk. If they gravitating to one religion over this one or this one over that one, then we know there's no scholarship to it. Why? Clearly, it can't be. They got that from off the internet or somebody. Why? Because if you're dealing with true wisdom and true origin, you should know where certain things come from. And you can know the connection and the Vatican and Islam. You should know that from scholarship. What I just said. Don't be mad at me. Can't be mad at me. All you got to do is be like, no, sir, you are absolutely correct. And I'll be like, we know. We be like, we know. We be like, this is wisdom. You can't be mad at me. But I bet you I know what everybody be posting. They won't stand on it. I bet you what everybody be posting. I bet you will not stand on that. Take that to court right now. How? Because I done seen it. I done seen all the best of them folk, all of them go in there and take their feds off, go in there and try to plead themselves in the court. And they go in there with court-appointed attorneys. I'm telling you what I know. Peace, Empress. But they post stuff all day. And you can do this and you can do this. Man, okay. Okay. I understand. I understand. I understand. Okay. I understand. But I be telling people we be taking things out of context and we be showing both hands. It's like we playing poker and we showing the world both of our hands. We shouldn't do that. And I be speaking in a certain way and people still don't be catching what I be saying. I be like, okay. I be like, okay, now I hope we stand on what we putting out there. What you mean when I say, when the person say this is that and this is that, people have been what? Accused for certain things. How? Social media. And people don't be listening to what I be saying. I'm like, you got to stand on what you put out there. It's in the algorithm. You have to stand on it. So when people be saying this and that, I say Islam, it's a certain Islam for Catholics. You'd be like, what you mean, Sheik? I said, I done told you what I know. We talk about connections. We talk about things that we can bring to people and show. So we're talking about a different level of books and things. Like when we talk about mind control in the United States, like I said, I have a full library over a lot of things. Remember last week, I lectured over at Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering by John Coleman. Remember that? And all this stuff is nothing new under the sun. John Coleman lectured at colleges, just like Peter Moon. When he wrote about the prophet and Spandu Mysteries and the other books, he lectured at GCU, my alma mater. I hope brothers and sisters is listening to me, man. It's a plethora of different mind control things that we had the pleasure to study and I had the pleasure to gather in my academic endeavor. You know, nights and nights at the library. You know, putting all this together. And then like one of my professors said, he was like, you can burn all this up and then regurgitate that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. They were like, how? Because this is something that was introduced to me that's in me. I tell everybody, I said, there's nowhere no one have to go. If you're willing to support what I'm doing, man, I'll give you what you need in gifts. And you can get a taxes and receipt because it's donated to my temple and school. This is part of our library. This is what I tell people. I'm set up in a certain way. Well, whatever you want, it can be looked at as a donation. And then it should be what? Valuable to you because you would think it's wisdom and people pay for this. When I talk about your the power of your subconscious mind, I have everything you need for your manuscripts to study and read and to see how things are synonymous and the same. And you will start to what? Seek wisdom. You will start seeing what? Understanding the power of the subconscious mind. You have manuscripts. You have documents. And then when we get into all our brothers and sisters, our historical figures, John Henry Clark, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ben, Sheikh Anta Diop, Amos Wilson, when we get into all those writers, Renuki Rashidi, then that's a whole nother topic. But it's so much wisdom, the super subconsciousness through meditation. When I always talk about the mental, it's always about that. Let me see how long. Okay, I got a couple more minutes because I've been on here almost. This is one of my good ones I always give to my Muslim brothers. And I say, this is the historical origin of Islam. When I say, man, I don't be wanting to argue with nobody, read for yourself. And then we can come with more wisdom and more wisdom and more wisdom and more wisdom. We can start synchronizing the teachings, and then we can see what it is and what it's not. You know? Because there's nothing to argue about. It's nothing to argue about. There's nothing new under the sun. Y'all see this? This pictorial, let me show y'all what this pictorial, what it's in. When I tell you it's nothing new under the sun. This pictorial right here is in this old book right here. It's the Lost 10 Tribes by Reverend Joseph Wild, D.D. Let me see, when was this book written? I can't even see. I need my glasses. I can't see, y'all. I can't see. Oh well. This old. I also have another one from, I think it's the same author, because I was going through the highlights of it. This one is the 10 tribes of Israel, historically identified with the Aborigines of the Western Hemisphere by Miss Simon. This one is by Miss Simon. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And like I tell people, I've done the work. And then I said, I don't care about no white lie, no black lie. I got so many documents and things like, let me tell y'all something, with all due respect to my Islamic brothers, like what's going on in Detroit during the same time so-called Far Muhammad, with all due respect, was there. The Watchtower stuff was going on. People were like, what you talk about Watchtower? The Jehovah Witness, Rudolph, and that whole stuff that you be hearing, the spaceships and all that, what they be talking about, it come from that, with all due respect. You can't get mad at me. All due respect, I'm gonna show you. It's just what it is. And then certain pictures where they be saying that ain't a certain individual, when you blow it up, it be Ugan Ali next to the person. And if that's Ugan Ali, well then who's that person in the middle? It ain't Donald Duck. With all due respect. With all due respect, let's proceed. That's all I'm saying. I ain't trying to disrespect no one, but we just bringing things together. It's things that's documented. It's world almanacs. When you get the little red book, for the lost nation of Islam in North America, and you be like, oh, the square root of the world is this and that and the other, and you think this somebody done came with some prolific thing, and then I give you the world almanacs before this, and you'll be like, well, dang, Sheik, this is word for word from the world almanacs. Then what do you mean? I hope you have enough brains and enough, how can I say, frequency operating in your head when you say you a scientist to say, well, if this older than this and this word for word, well, we know it came from this. Why? Because they had access to it. Duh. If we'll sit up here and say, we know that the Book of Mormon was plagiarized from the view of the Hebrews. Why? Because it was word for word and it was checked out. And when you research it and read it, it's word for word. There you go. I'm telling you. And then people be making stuff up, man. Like, it's a lot that we can clear up. Like when people be saying America in the Bible is Arasat or Arasat, that's a whole nother place in a certain different area, in a certain region. All you got to do is look it up. That's not America per se. I promise you it's not. Let's take a little time to research, but that's what we do. We don't take the time. So this book right here, Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering by John Coleman. That's what I'm talking about. Tavistock Institution of Human Engineering by John Coleman. It's packed with information. Like I always tell you, it's nothing new under the sun. The founding, I'll give y'all a couple topics because I need to highlight this. Founding the world's premier brainwashing institution. Europe falls off the precepts. How times were made to change. Social engineering and the social sciences. Do we have what H.G. Wells calls an invisible government? Mass communications ushers in the polling industry, the making of public opinion, degrading women and decline of moral standards, how individuals and groups react to the blending fact with fiction. Polling comes of age, the paradigm shift in education, Lewin's doctrine of identity change, the induced decline of Western civilization, two world wars, America is not a homeland, the media's role in propaganda, scientific propaganda can deceive the very elect, propaganda and psychological warfare. Wilson gets the U.S. in World War I thanks to propaganda. Is history being repeated? The case of Lord Bryce, the Black Art of Successful Lying, Gulf War, 1991, the Soldiers Memorial and World War I cemeteries, peace is not popular, the Tavistock Institution, Britain's control of the U.S., brainwashing saves a U.S. president, Tavistock assaults the U.S., how mediocre politicians, actors, and singers are puffed, the Tavistock formula that got U.S. in World War II. Hold on. Let's see. How Tavistock makes well people sick. Tropological psychology gets U.S. in World War, in the war in Iraq. My choice of candidate. Man, it's more topics, man. I can go on and on with the topics, but you caught that. This is all in the library, which I'm telling y'all, all a person got to do is give a small donation. When I say your library and all this stuff gonna be obsolete and cost thousands of dollars in a minute, and you're gonna be like, man, she got all this stuff that's ebooks. And I'm be like, yeah. And people that know me, that's not into more science, but into this, in gnostics and adapts in their studies and reads, they're gonna be like, yeah, we get all our books and stuff from him. And we join them in the private teachings on Zoom. It'd be jumping over there. But if y'all ever heard of David Icke, remember I talk about Credo Matua, you know? And when I tell you a lot of our brothers and sisters, they have to go in exile while the other man makes money. And David Icke wrote a lot of books and things of history because he was introduced to certain things. One of the books is The Biggest Secret, the book that will change the world by David Icke. I know a lot of people may have heard of David Icke, may not have, but I tell brothers and sisters it's nothing new under the sun. You have to deal with somebody that's done the work. moon, sun, and witches, gender ideologies, and class in Inca and colonial Peru. So we can start connecting the science. It's all just a connectivity. It's like, oh, a rap song. Brothers diss what they don't know. This book right here, you look it up, Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov on Amazon. I think it's about $500. Don't get slick and try to be like, oh, I can get the one for $100 like somebody did on Amazon, an Empress. I mean, a chick that was following me. And then she got the book and was like, oh, it's just the pages. And I tried to tell her. And I offered the book for pennies at $1. And I said, we could have printed and bind it for you for the same price you went and bought some pages for. But that's what you get. And you could have got the original book, printed in color. What? The real book, Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov with the plates in it, in color. Some of them in black and white, but the majority of them are in color. Russian Icons, I got the book, I got it in here printed. Remember, it's no such thing as ancient blacks. Russian Icons is the first church fathers printed melanated. Now, it was an art style when they kept making the nose straight, but the Russian Icons is all the church fathers painted melanated. It's just like the Ancient and Modern Britons by David MacRitchie. The Ancient and Modern Britons was melanated as well. So when you talk about Saint Mark and all those of the Tetrarchs, all those Moors, all those first church fathers, you're going to start seeing the connectivity. So yeah, Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov is about all the church fathers in Russia in the melanation. So at the Catholic Church, when they had a Greek fest, I might go again one year if I think my professor still worked there. And behind it, I'm going to show you all the so-called pictures of the 12 of the disciples and all this, and at the table and Jesus' followers, eating in the 12 and all this, all melanated. All the Russian icon pictures. All of them. Blow your mind. All melanated. But the book Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov, it's in a lot of universities, And you can pull it up on YouTube, and the brother Mistake talk about these are the ancient blacks. And somebody hit me up was like, Sheik, the brother started off saying they the ancient blacks and he don't have the book. Well, hey, it don't matter, but they not ancient blacks. They Russian icons. Remember, in first century, black was not used to describe ethnicity. They were Russian icons. And that's what Putin was talking about, the Russian icons, but people didn't catch it. The Russian icons. When you see all the first church fathers painted in melanation, because that's what they saw. That's what it was. And when you start doing the connectivity, you will see. You will start going over in like Corsica. You see the Corsica flag, And then you would talk about Zwarte Piet, a.k.a. Black Pete in the Netherlands. All this Moorish connectivity. Yeah, man. So that's just a small fraction of the library. Like I said, I got books by the African origins of the major world religions. Like I said, this is just a small fraction because I'm traveling. Once I go in my database, man, y'all be like, it's just so much. You'll be getting so many books at one time just to build your library. African origins of the major Western religions. When people be talking about underground libraries, I'll be like, yes, that's fine, but I don't do no compare and contrast. I say, man, underground library, we got that right here. I guarantee you. And then I've been introduced to wisdom. This is a whole bunch that a lot of people not going to have. Just like right now, it's a book called Atlantis of Latter Days. And a European called himself El Elyon. I think that book costs about $500 something on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all it is the Osiris mysteries. All it is the Osiris mysteries. I guarantee you. When I show my brothers and sisters, my misnomer black brothers and sisters, I show them the African origins of the word of God, the African origin of the word God, the African origin of the word God. When I show them the Igbo and Igbo is the real Jew and real European and stuff, they say these things and they show these things historically. When I say it's nothing to argue about, I have documents and presentations proving exactly what I'm saying. The African origins, Volume 2, African Origins of Western Civilization, Religion and philosophy. And then especially if you have a child and your child is in the wisdom and the studying. And you can say, well, man, I know a brother that can build your library on these topics and these topics. And you can have, and right now kids in the tablets, man, they have all that information on their tablet at the hand, right at their hand. When it's time for them to study, when it's time for them to talk about some misnomer African-American history, they'll start blowing these teachers' mind, talking about some real history before some 16, 19. We can show them some real history. I got all type of levels of wisdom, quantum mechanics, concepts, and applications. Why? Because the mind, the mental, this all go to building ourselves up. And if we take these disciplines and blend them and we work how synchronicity, how the mathematical equation explains itself, what? Here we go. Because they take this and this and this to what? To do this. The same way in architecture. It's the same type of method. It's the same type of unity. That's why it's called quantum mechanics. I got a lot of different disciplines of quantum mechanics because it's just a way to study different levels of wisdom and able to apply them in real life as we go on. Because I said, as I keep going, man, I'm just confident that this stuff, what we're doing is going to click on. Because if I was doing something illegal, then it would have been caught on, with all due respect. But we doing things righteous, and the righteous prevail. It's only a few, but hey, the righteous, we can build it. I can show you all the esoteric wisdom of the star of Moloch, what it really represents. We can break it down, for we can remove the veil of all religious dogma. I can show you what the Baphomet really consists of. When I tell y'all the Baphomet is nothing scary, the Baphomet is written Kabbalistically, Tip, Hob, Habs, Abba, Hymnium, Abnium. It's the temple of David and man. It's nothing spooky. It's written Kabbalistically. I promise you. And we have the documents and we have the manuscripts to prove what we're saying. I'm telling you. The prayer of Manasseh, all these things where we can sit down and have dialogue, meditation, know-how, from different disciplines. When I say, man, I have the pleasure to study and understand different disciplines. This is what I tell people. You cannot be limited. If you're studying martial arts, I love old school martial arts movies. So if you're dealing with an old master, a sensei, a shaman, or dealing with someone that's in the Buddha, that's dealing in the temple, a lot of those are different crafts. They learn different skills. And that's why I said it's no cap over my wisdom. It's no cap on my understanding. I keep telling people, I had the pleasure to understand and be introduced to things as I travel and tarry and bring things back to my brothers and sisters and then create manuals as I go. What? Take this piece of science, take this piece of science, take all this and put it in small manuals for a brother can say, man, she done made this simple. And people be butthurt because they ain't have the aptitude to do it. It's like hating on the young boys now, using their name, likeness, influence to get the bag, and you ain't know how to do it, and you hating. That's the problem. There's nothing secret with me. And they get in the bag. Why? Because they should. The same way, I'm giving people things that cost money. For what? Small donations. And then people are going to see what happened when everybody starts supporting. Because we're going to have our brick and mortar, our library, our community center, our computer lab. Everything that these funds generate is going to rock and roll. I'm telling you, because that's what we building. Everything, the parable of Jesus, all these things for people from different concepts. We can have clear understanding when these people be debating on social media, the Muslims and the so-called Christians, they be debating. And I say debating over what? Both of them don't have no understanding and a tittle of no understanding because they both have the same forefathers. They out here playing a game with each other. I'll be like, they both agents. Why? Because they both playing a game. Clearly, they both playing a game. Clearly. If not, somebody tripping or they playing semantics. This is what I'm saying. These is facts. Even what I did with my brothers, man, I say I love everyone. I say I love everyone. I say I love everyone. but I'm not going to let no one come and say, oh, this is that and that is this. And then try to get someone with some connotated understanding to get you in some man-made religion. Because if a lot of these figures was in the flesh right now, they'll be quiet. Why? Because they know I know. And they all was part of wisdom. I tell people, I love the Moorish Science Temple, but my wisdom is way more than that. The Moorish Science Temple was just a brotherhood. I ain't learned nothing there, with all due respect. Got tired for that barbershop talk. I told y'all, my dad in here right now, when I had my building, my temple, them brothers didn't even have the Moorish Quran. Paperwork is meaningless. So when I talk about different crafts and understanding, it's just like if you come to my dojo and you say, well, I want to come see what Sheik learning. You come with a style and I know your style. How can you be upset because I know your style and studied your style and mastered it and all my students mastered the style? Like, that's asinine to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That should make you understand and be like, okay, well, man, I need to at least learn. Or once I come to a clear understanding, I can be illuminated and add these things to the toolbox. I told you, it's nothing new under the sun. Wisdom comes from all different places. Once I hear the language, I know where the wisdom come from. Why? It's just like in any craft you in. The language is going to match. So when we talk about any figures that are in the flesh, like Khalid Muhammad per se and Clarence X, or let's talk about this figure right now that's getting popular on social media. Let's talk about a Dr. York per se. Let's talk about that. Now, I know where the wisdom come from. I know where a lot of that stuff you talk about come from, a lot of Egyptian tablets. I know a lot of pictures that people use. They put themselves in things and do that. But I know where a lot of science come from. I know where a lot of the wisdom come from. Remember, like I say, when I get into the aspect of the Watchers and the Jehovah and that aspect of Rudolph, you'll understand what I'm saying. But a lot of stuff people be talking about, they don't have access to it. So a lot of people play old videos and things, which is good, which a lot of people, yes, they like to hear things because that's one way to learn, but also having the manuals. And somebody said, what you mean, Sheik? I have a professor, and I said, I'll just introduce to getting all books from everywhere. I mean, that's been collected for years. And when I say most people that's in this stuff, they studied this stuff before we were even born. So I'm gonna go over some more books that I have from a certain brother. When I say, when I read these books, I can show you, oh, this come from this come from this come from this. I can highlight everything and show you this come from this and cross-reference it. So it's one of the books is the Luciferian Conspiracy, by the Grand Ali Mufti. Y'all know who called himself that. That's one of my man names. I'm just showing y'all. When I say, hey, I know where the science come from, and that's okay. The inner sight's key of life and the covenant. All you got to do when people be talking, and then all it take me a second and listen to the language, I say, oh, I know you come from this craft. Remember I was talking earlier when a certain figure that's in trouble, that was in a conscious community, and he got popular, and I was like, oh, when I told y'all it's a certain language that I pick up on if you study in a craft, and I said, oh, this person is a little bit more canny than the rest of these individuals. Why? Because I heard the craft. I picked up on the language. I told all my muftis. I said, this person is part of this. They're like, why? I said, because the stuff you talk about come from this. And sure enough, I'm telling you, with all due respect, and when someone that knows that can stand strong against that, all that stuff be flittered out. I'm telling you, man. This all the stuff he was talking, they was coming from, a lot of this stuff. And then they switched it up. With all due respect. I'm telling you, I love science and wisdom. But it's nothing new under the sun with me, because we can break all the science and wisdom down from all levels with all due respect and share it and see what we standing on. And we act like it's only other people can have libraries with a lot of our information and different things. That's why I be laughing at people when I say, man, I'm a historian. I have a library. I lecture on a lot of topics. I'm a collector. So I'm just like the book of Eli. Or we got to go to Amazon and all these places and do all this. Amazon sell ebooks and all this. I'm a walking bookstore. I have everything we need. I have everything we need. And even more. I have everything we need and even more. And people can get stuff from me for small donations because this is part of my temple and school. I'm telling you, I know I have things people never seen. I know this for a fact. Let me see what else. Oh, the esoteric or exoteric. This is by Dr. York too. Everything that anybody that's melanated ever wrote historically, anything I have it. I even got mystics that a lot of people never heard about. That was professors at universities, and they were mystics and gnostics. They were professors 3 times over. I'm telling you. All in all in the library. I don't know, a noble. I be having to. I got so much stuff. Then I got like travel drives and databases, man. I got like 5 laptops, but everything I have, a lot of this stuff, I just converted it. And so in fact, we can stop a lot of that stuff right in the tracks. And then the lawful, the civic stuff, man, I don't talk about that too much on social media. Why? Because I don't want nobody to get in trouble. I'm already seeing, I already explained this stuff, you know? And I know the stuff people talking about is not real. Because I know they never done it. That's all. I know people can say things. I tell people, a person can say anything. That don't mean it's real. And then our own people is involved because there's nothing but payola. So I'm just showing y'all, man, what like it's a plethora, man. And when I say it's a plethora of old books as well. And like I said, all y'all got to do is get with me. I told people I got some people, man. I have donate money each month, and I give them like 10 books a month. I give them a tax and receipt. I said I give people like that. They say, man, well, Sheik, well, I can give you $100 a month. You send me how many books each month? 10 books. And they be like, man, the books cost more than this, and you'll give me a tax and receipt? Yes, because it's part of my ministry. Yes. And I have people donating things, and I provide fezzes and turbans and all that. I mean, at our company, morrishaberdasher.com. This is a very interesting book as well. It's called The Magi, but it's another ancient book called Abramelin, The Magi. It's 3 volumes, and I might speak on that again because a lot of teachings, when you actually get a hold of them, you get you see how the science is synchronizing. And so a lot of times when I tell people, when I read a Grimmer, and it's about spells and things, when I be talking about the missing books of Solomon in the 6th and 7th or in the 8th and the 9th book of Solomon, and then you start seeing things connecting. When I say Grimmer, or you would think something scary is really not, because all scary figures are nothing but pious hieroglyphs. So when you start seeing things like this, and when I teach it, and when I explain it, and when I break it down, what I do is I remove the veil of religious dogma. Just like I broke down how the Baphomet is nothing scary. It's only done a certain way to keep you away from it. Like the Kundalini, you think it's something scary, but it's not. It's in the medical field. We are the we are the Kundalini rising. And this is the Grand Grimmer with the great Calvissel of Solomon. you know? And so a lot of things that I talk about, that I show, that I illuminate, we just opening eyes. We just opening eyes. I don't even know about it. People be talking about things right here, and I say, well, our Moorish Quran is conscribed of the unto the I grant. This is a Rosicrucian manual. The Moorish Quran is conscribed from the unto the I grant. The Brahmin text, the Vedas, but especially the unto the I grant. Hell, in the Moorish Akashic records, it's chapter for chapter, word for word, misspelling for misspelling. You know, I'm telling you, man. And we ain't even got, let me see, how long we been? Okay, I got 4 more minutes and I'm out. I didn't even know I was past my hour. It's one of my favorites. And when y'all be buying all those crystals, like there, it's a mathematical equation. The crystals that y'all be buying is a mathematical equation. When I talk about the Sephirots, when I talk about this wisdom, when I tell brothers, I have a full library, I give things for pennies to build your library, to build what you're into, and then be able to join us privately. And then when I go over the civic aspect, when I give you precedented law cases and doc numbers and Free Information Act, when we be proving things without a shadow of a doubt and show you that what people talk about is just uncivilized and they're not going to court for what they're saying. It's a thing called precedented law cases. It's a thing called doc numbers. And it's shown another thing called what? The Free Information Act. All you got to do is ask a person name. If a person's saying what they saying, and if it's valid, you look up the jurisdiction, that's what it's going to be. If not, you know it's full of horse manure. You know? With all respect. Man, it's just so much. I don't even know where to. Okay, let me show this book. What you say, Bell? He say that chicken. That chicken, I did catch that one. The chicken. Yeah, I got a little bit more time. Oh, let me go back to it. I don't know, man. He said the chicken. Shoot, man, I don't know, Noble. Oh, oh, the chicken Kabbalah. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, cause I'll be, man, Noble. I'm sorry. I don't know where. I have to go all the way back because I'm placing this stuff in alphabetical form. But I get back. Forgive me. I will get back to it. I will get back to it. Man, my fault. The Dharma I, and then when I talk about words have synonyms, when I break things down, I'll be like, I told you, like, I don't understand what you're talking about, you know? I be like, I don't understand. If you adapt and you're dealing with wisdom, if you're a Gnostic, if you're dealing with metaphysics, it's only one science. We have no prejudice over jurisdiction. If you're a medicine man, if you're a shaman, that's just who you are in real life. I'm telling you. And you have to move from anything that try to put a cap on your wisdom. But I tell y'all, we respect and obey all the laws and the prophets. If you start looking at things, you'll be like, this all over the whole globe. I'll be like, yeah. Everything I talk about is global and international. What are we talking about? If a person have an eye to see, So what else I got? I got a couple more. I'm out of here. A lot of stuff I have is super old. Oh, yeah, the Book of Changes. This is an amazing piece of wisdom. I don't know if anybody understand that symbology. We'll break that down another date. 'Cause I got a couple more minutes. I just want to keep going through the library. And like I said, I'll lecture on every one of these pieces of wisdom. Here go the difference. Actually, this teacher manual of the book right here. The Book of Changes. When I show you how things be broke down. When people talk about what they don't study. Here at the BBT, man, I teach science. You know, the other stuff is simple. The civic aspect is that's dealing with the lower self. So it's only one. You see, when I can bring things to you, when I can introduce wisdom to you and bring things to you to show you the signs and symbols of what it's all about in man, to connect the misconfusion, because one of the brainwashing, misinformation is a form of brainwashing, you know? When I talk about Jesus the King, Merkaba, the mysticism, and the Gospel of John, I break down all this symbology for you. Why? Because it need to be explained. From apocalypticism to Merkaba, the mysticism, all this stuff has already been demonstrated and researched. But we haven't been introduced to it. Because they try to say and try to put it in a fashion and have it written as something scary. I'm telling you, always. Here go Brother Credo Matua. When I was telling you how David Icke got rich off writing about him and other things. When I say I had the pleasure to study everything, Sheikh Bamboo Falls, the Mortardine. So when I speak at things, when people really don't be listening, and other individuals be like, man, are y'all listening to what this man said? He's bringing information. And then I break down who I am lawfully. I break down who I am lawfully. Here go another one of David Icke books. You see? I mean, I got a plethora, y'all. Here go another one, The Robots Rebellion. All this stuff is by David Icke. Remember, and I told y'all, Credo Matua, David Icke interviewed Credo Matua. And then Credo Matua went where? Exile. But it's a lot of things that's already written, that's in our library, and a lot of things that I have, and it's going to be obsolete, or a lot of stuff is going to be made hard to get. Because I haven't even showed the expensive books. But all these books is science books and wisdom books. That's why I don't comment on nobody page. I don't go on nobody page, because I don't want to be on one page and then tell a person, well, it's more to that. And a lot of people will show both of their hands. When I say, man, I'm into a lot of things. I'm into the Orishas, the Santerias. I'm into all our African spirits. Why? Because I am. And that's just what it is. If you think it's something spooky, that's your fault. That's what they done to us. Took all our things and made it some religious ceremony. And when I say as a Ghostbuster, you have to know everything. All the wisdom to be able to stand strong in front of anything. That's what you should be able to do. When a person's coming with a certain type of wisdom, I don't have to come combat it. What I do is come with understanding. That's why I said I don't run from wisdom. I know where it come from. I know how these people like Aleister Crowley, they take the wisdom and connotate the wisdom and they cast spells. And brothers and sisters don't know how to reverse the spells because they don't even know a spell has even been put on them. Why? To keep you away from the wisdom that's written in a certain way. You know? That's why I say, man, it's nothing new under the sun. If brothers don't know how to read what people try to take and keep you away from, then you got to say your eye is limited. You have to say that with all due respect. You know? And and one of my nobles said, he said, a lot of them brothers don't know what they're looking at. But when you break it down, it's all the science that all these people be saying. I'm like, yep, because I know where a lot of stuff come from. And words have synonyms. And when I take regular manuscripts and put things together, a person will see with their eye. You'll be like, man, dang. Just like what I did with my Nation of Islam brothers. I say your Quran is by Maulani Muhammad Ali. Who you mean, Maulani Muhammad Ali? I say the brother that wrote this. That's who. The brother that wrote this right here. The brother that wrote this right here. The brother that wrote this right here. I mean, and it's a plethora of books that he wrote. Muhammad and Christ, Maulani Muhammad Ali, the author of the Holy Quran, is right here. See? See? I'm just showing my brothers and sisters when a person promulgates something and say something, I'll be like, dude, now are you sure? Because if I show you something, it's going to go against everything you're saying. It's the Quran right here, right? Yep, I know. Like I said, man, I can go on and on and on. Oh, let me show y'all. This is another historical book that's very important. This one right is very important. I don't know if y'all ain't never seen that one. Very important about traveling to the Americas. Very important. Talking about all this stuff, man. I've done the research for you. You don't have to go far, nowhere. All right, this is a one-stop shop. As you see, this is a one-stop shop. And then we'll break the wisdom down and demonstrate the wisdom, as we should. See what I'm saying, yeah? You see what I'm saying, y'all? For all my brothers and sisters, we're not going to let nobody keep us away from wisdom and breaking things down, as we should. And you don't have to go to nobody secret place and pay no whole bunch of money or nothing like that. You can deal with a person that have a real organization that's tax exempt for the federal government, and everything you dealing with me, it's a donation. And everything I have a donation, and I can build your library. It's that simple, with small donations. So y'all got my information. Oh, I'm not even on my YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel is my name, Kari Ibn Hakeem Goodman Bey on YouTube. Our Temple and School YouTube channel is Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. But my Gmail is Goodman, Khary, at gmail.com. GOODMAN, KHARY, at gmail.com. All you got to do is hit me up. If you wrote some books down, tell me what you want to donate for that bundle. I email them right then. I'll tell you how to donate. I either do PayPal, Zelle, or Venmo. I'll show you how to donate, and I hook you up. And then based on what you're looking for, I have a little vibration on what you're into, and I send you some extras, you know. And that's what I do. And that's how we'll build that relationship. And you'll see the value. Because I'm going to give you one book that costs a grip. You know, I'm going to give you one book on the house that costs a grip. You're going to look one book up and be like, damn, this book costs $1,000. I'm going to be like, yeah. So everything that you donated was going to be worth it. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And anything that you research, I promise you I have it. From no biasness. Oh, let me show y'all the book that everybody wanted. The Fruits of the Moon Tree. I think this book still is a couple $100 on Amazon. And I have all this for real, in real time. I tell people it don't matter what. You get this stuff for cheaper, then you're going to get a AFA, a bunk smokes. Or split it down to half. If a person say, man, she only got 25, man, can you give me a bundle of books? Yep. That's why I be telling people, use me. I bless people. I don't care if a person say, man, she got $20, man, can you give me a bundle of books? Yes, I got you. I got you. And that's what I tell people. Don't be bashful. We should be sharing. Everybody like, man, this man going to give you a bundle of books, $25. He going to give you 5 or 10 books. Why? Because he can. Why? Because I can. That's why. Because I can. Person don't have to get to no point where I got $100. That's great. I'm thankful for when people get that and give like that. But if you don't have it and you really want something and you serious, just like a person to go buy something for 10 or 25, do the same thing with me. And watch how I bless you. Be like, man, I got 25, I got 30. Your homeboy might got 30. Somebody else might got 30. Somebody else might got 30. You might turn somebody else on and say, Sheik, I know these other people, man. I turned you on to this. Can I get some? Absolutely, because you ain't got to ask. Because you bring people to the storehouse. That's what I'll be telling people. That's like people share with Amazon. Share me. Share me. I got a company called MorrisHaberdasher.com. You can go in there and get turbans, fezzes, all type of dope clothes right now. You can go on MorrisHaberdasher.com right now. Go on there and buy you a turban, buy you a fez. And then if you buy something, I'm going to send you something for free. But if you know me and you go on that page and it's something specific like a turban or a fez, I'm definitely going to bless you. But nobody can do what we can do. Why? Because we are the library. With all due respect, nobody can do what we can do. And so I'm casting my net, for my brothers and sisters to get with me, man. Do business with me. Get my email, goodmancurry@gmail.com. And I promise you, it's going to be the only place that you want to get your books and your wisdom from. And then once you start dealing with me, and if you wear your cultural dress, like your tunics, cotton or silk, I supply all that. I supply all that at MorrisHaberdasher.com. But if you get with me, I can do things and we can connect personally, For we can build our database, for I can build my email base with brothers and sisters, for I can invite you to our private Zoom classes and be our guest on StreamYard. But brothers and sisters, I really hope brothers and sisters share this, man, because I have a lot to give. And please, family, don't be bashful. I don't care if it's $10. If everybody on here got $10 right now, y'all want some books, all you got to do is email me. I'm going to send you a gang of stuff. It's a gang of people on my TikTok. It look like what? I don't know how many. It's a gang of people on here right now. If everybody took my email down and everybody want this, all right, everybody email down and y'all be like, man, this man did everything he said. I don't care. Everybody on here donate $10 or $20. I'll give everybody 10 books right off the dribble. I don't care if it takes me 2 days to send it to everybody. I'll get it done to everybody. Everybody get 10 pieces of books of good wisdom, and one book costs $1,000. Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. That's my Gmail. Once again, Well, my donation area, I have PayPal. It's PayPal. Watch this. It's PayPal.me, PayPal.me/ and I think it's on my handle on right on here. I think it's on my handle when you go back on my TikTok page. But I don't know how to do all this, man. But I can spell it out for you if that's okay, and somebody can type it on there. But it's on my handle in my description. But my PayPal, I don't know if anybody have PayPal, and if you want to, but it's PayPal. Yeah, yep, it's on there. Yep, it's on there, and then you can donate anyway on there. And all you have to do is send me an email. You send me an email and say, "Hey, Sheik, hey man, this is me. I donated blah 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 blah, or $20, and my handle how I gave is this, and that, and the other. You know, please send 10 books to this email, and I'm gonna send it right to you. But all the ways you can donate is on my description. You know, and all you got to do is send me an email to Goodman, GOODMANKHARY at gmail.com. You know? You know? Yep. 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 And I promise you, I guarantee you, that $20 donation, you're going to be like, man, thank you. And I'm going to be like, no, thank you. Because you could have did anything with that $20. And that's why I said I don't beg nobody or nothing, but I promise you, I have things that's worth value. I guarantee you. And then when people, like a lot of people that get books from me, they'll be like, that's Moors that don't have a Fez and they want one, and say they may not have the money right then, but I done looked and seen how much they donated for these books. I'll send them a Fez. A brother like, man, I ain't pay for the Fez. He like, Sheik, I don't even feel right. I said, yes, you did. I said, brother, you got these books from me. You donated and got all these books. It's worth the money of the Fez. But he said, I paid for the books. I said, it don't matter. I said, it don't matter. And I give brothers turbans and fezzes and show them how to wrap them. This is what I'm saying. I can give gifts. Why? Because I have a warehouse. Because I have a warehouse. That's why I can give gifts. That's why I tell brothers, you do what you did with me, you get books and things. Just imagine a person donate and get $200 worth of books, and they are more, and they hit me up and say, Sheik, I don't have a Fez. And I'll be like, why? What's your head size? I'm going to tell you, go get your head fitted at the hat club. You're going to tell me whatever size, and then I'm going to ship you your Fez as soon as it's done to your address with a turban. With a turban. That's why I say to people, man, I got everything for our culture, tunics, everything, cotton or silk. You go on my Facebook page and my Instagram page, even on here on TikTok, everything that I show, I have. And if everybody want books and wisdom, I promise you, all the brothers and sisters that's on here right now, man, $20, $10, everybody, I will hook you up. All you got to do is email me. And then when you email me, I'll give you my office number. Y'all can call me sometimes. Just don't be bugging me for anything. But I give people my number. I'm transparent. I don't hide from nobody. I do things the right way. I say I'm a real person, you know, and I want to do business with everybody, and we should, so the information can be spread. This is a book that one of my homeboys wanted. When I say, oh yeah, this is in the Smithsonian about the giants. This is real stuff, how they cover things up. The stuff is there. This stuff I had the pleasure to study at the university. So I'm telling y'all, man, I can build your library with so much wisdom. Oh, that's crazy, that Mars one. Now, this is something people be showing on social media, but you be like, dang, do they have it and what it's about? Y'all ever seen this? I'll have to break this down at a later time because we almost at the 2-hour mark. Y'all see what y'all looking at? Y'all see what y'all looking at? I bet you most people don't know what they looking at. I bet you they don't. And we'll break that down at another day when I tell y'all people be showing things, but we have them. I know, but we have them. I have to break this down later because we almost at our mark. I'm just showing the library. I'm telling you, you'll be like, man, bro. Be like, hey, man, it is what it is. When we talk about different disciplines, that's the same thing, but just worded with different synonyms. You know? He said, let me know for that crown. Oh, I got that crown for you too, A-Bay. It's because I'm in Michigan, man. I'm still visiting my parents. I got that crown for you too. But I think you got hair. But it's like one size fit all. So it might fit your hair, Noble. But I still got that crown. Yep. I got that crown for you. Damn. I can give it to you for a good price. It ain't gonna cost that much to ship. And I might, man, about like $70 or something, man. Cause if handmade, you can get it. Yep. And I'll ship it to you when I get back. I got a lot to ship off too when I get back. But I just want to show y'all this, man. I know we've been on here for a minute. And thank y'all, man, for tuning in. But once again, brothers and sisters, y'all got my information. Get with your brother. Get with your brother. Oh, here go the European. I keep every time I get ready to say I'm gonna close, I'm gonna show. This the European, Spencer Dew. He wrote the book called The Aliyhites. This is a European professor. He wrote this book called The Aliyhites. I told y'all, man, I got a lot of books that you'll be like, huh? Like I told y'all, it's the book called Spondu Mysteries by Peter Moon. And I showed y'all I got Noble Drew Ali and all the U.S. generals on the cover. Okay, before I close, this is what I want to show y'all. So, all these books right here, y'all, published by the International Bible Students Association, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Brooklyn, New York, USA, by J.F. Rutherford. So J.F. Rutherford, that's all the Watchtower stuff, right? So that's one of the books of the Watchtower. And when I start showing y'all some stuff, you're gonna be like, man, Sheik, you ain't lying. I'll be like, I know. Here go another one of his book, Preparation. When I start showing y'all things synchronized, I just want to show y'all the plethora of books that he have, especially from all my Jehovah's Witness brothers and my Al-Islam brothers or the Nation of Islam brothers, with all due respect. Prophecy by J.F. Rutherford. You know, when you start looking at things, you're going to be like, man, this sounds just like this. I'm going to be like, I know it do. With all due respect. Man, I can go on and on. Vindication. When you start hearing things, they be like, Ezekiel, that will, and all this is where it come from. I'm trying, with all due respect. Oh, the little blue book from the Jehovah's Witness, that's the first one. I got that one, where it talks about the YHWH. That's the original one. I have to show y'all that when I get back home. Yeah, they all know. Yeah, the little blue one. I got the ancient one, that the one they tried to rewrite and take the information out. But I got it. My neighbor across the street from my parents used to be Jehovah's Witnesses. Yep. When I showed them their little book, they was cracking up. They were like, how do you have that? I said, well, don't worry about it. But you know, I know that you know what I'm saying is factual and you can't deny it. They know about the YHWH. They know about everything I'm saying. With all due respect. So, with that being said, man, oh, let me show y'all this last one. The sealed portion, the final testament of Jesus. You know, when you hear people talk about the sealed portion. So once again, y'all seen what I got for y'all, a plethora of wisdom. No one can deny what we have for you. I have everything you need. All you have to do is get with me. I told y'all for small donations, I'll put your bundle together and we'll do business. And every so often when you want bundles, I'll say, man, you can donate this. I'll give you these bundles. Or you can just say, hey, man, anytime you want something, I'll give it to you in bundles. You know, for you can build your library. For you can build your library. All the work has been done for you. So once again, I'm right here, man. Y'all use me, man. Use me. You can't go to Amazon and do this and be like, man, Amazon, I got $10. I really want that ebook. Amazon gonna be like, so? Not me. I'm gonna be like, thank you, brother. I want you to have the wisdom. And I'm gonna give you even more. Why? Because that's what a teacher does. That's what I do. Man, that $10 is means so much to me. That's what I be telling people. I said $10. Everybody on here is like 22,000 people, or I don't know what that means. 22,000. Just imagine that 22,000 people donated $10, and I give them and I give everybody 10 books, and one of the books costs $1,000. Everybody should be like, man, this man is just. Because just for that, I would give. And I said 20 bucks, I would give. And it's a donation to our temple and school. And I can give everybody a tax exempt receipt. And that's all I'm saying, man. So once again, thank y'all for your time. Thank y'all for listening to little old me. But once again, man, let's do business. I got everything for us. Share my information. Share everything about me. If you need anything, send me an email and say, Sheik, man, I'm into this. I seen this book. I need it. I got you. I promise you. Nobody's bugging me. I gave y'all my email. Hell, listen, my office number is 602-473-8767. It's late right now because I'm in Michigan, so please, you can send me a text saying peace, but 602-473-8767. I'm a real person. And that's what my Zelle connected to. My Zelle is connected to this number right here. So right now, everything I'm talking is real time, and I'm a real person. And I tell everyone, let's do business. Let's help each other. And I promise you, I'm just in everything I'm doing. So right now, everybody have the opportunity to get a bundle of books. And let me show y'all, as we close, the value of one of the books I'm going to give you for your $20 donation on the house, just because. And if everybody do it, man, you know how honorable that'll be? Watch this. Man, all right. See, this book is $1,000. It's called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. It's $1,000 on Amazon. $1,000. This book is a stack on Amazon. I have it. All the books that I'm talking about, I have them right in there. Because my parents, they study everything, and I read. I do all this for all my family that's into the science. And my dad is into the science. My mom is into the science. And a lot of their friends that go to churches into the science. When I come home, I'll be going to a lot of the churches ministering. And it's picking up, man. I'm getting on the circuit. And if y'all want me to come and minister and lecture anywhere, just put it together and I will. Watch this one. This one costs $1,000 too, but I ain't gonna give y'all all these $1,000 books. But if a person donated more than that, I would, because when I'm doing this, this is $1,000. This is $1,000. You see that? $1,000. $1,000, right? I'm gonna show y'all two more. I'm gonna show y'all two more. Remember I was telling y'all about the book Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov? So, let's see. Here it go right here. At $500 on Amazon. You got the one, the paperback, which is nothing but paper, with the lady bought trying to be slick for $185. She just lost her $185. Everybody was laughing at her, embarrassed, so she don't follow me no more. But that's what we get when we don't want to do business with our own brother and sisters. You bought a whole bunch of pages, talk about, he trying to say this. They got the book for $185. Bought that book, all pages. That's what you get, with all due respect. I'm not joking, but it is what it is. This right here, Russian Icons, you see is for $482. I have that as well printed in there. And then the last one, remember I told you all about the European Atlantis of the latter days? And it's all Osiris mysteries. And this book might be out of print on Amazon. Oh no, they got it. Oh, it's cheaper. It's $100. It's $131 now. It was $500, but it's a used one. Yep. So the price is gonna change. Just yesterday the book was like $500, but I just showed you for what, 5 books, and it was almost 300, almost 3 grand. I just showed you 5 books, almost for the value of 3 grand right there. And people, like I said, and I have way more, and I build your library. Everything that I have, you see, I provide it at our companies. And I said, brothers and sisters, do business with your brother. But once again, y'all got my information. If y'all want a bundle of 10 books with one of those expensive books I showed y'all, and the book is going to be Forgotten Call of the Civil War by Tinsler, y'all know how to donate. Only a $20 donation. You're gonna get 10 books. And one of them is gonna be that book. So you're gonna get 9 books plus that one book for a $20 donation. And they're all gonna be ebooks. And if you want those books printed and binded, my muftis are printed and bind them for you for a cost. You know, I'll send you the information if you want the expensive book bound and printed. And then I'll send you to my mufti Lamarck, Barclay Bay, and he'll tell you how much he'll print and bind the book for you. And he'll ship it right to you, you know? And he do it for the same price the Office Max or Staples do it. But once again, that's how y'all can get with me. I gave y'all my email. Once again, it's Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. My office number is 602-473-8767. And all my handles, how to donate, is on my handle on TikTok and YouTube. But I gave y'all my number. That phone number is connected to Zelle, but everything else is on the TikTok handle and YouTube handle. So thanks again, man. I love y'all. Until next time, peace.